Hello, namaskar, good morning, my dear friends. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you are doing good this morning. The first editorial that we have, it's a very rare editorial. When I say rare, I mean to say that look at the size of this editorial. Starting from the top of the page, going right across to the bottom, right? This one is about Aadhaar survives. It's about a case that was going on in Supreme Court regarding Aadhaar. So we are going to talk about this particular item in detail. So this is the first one that we have. The second one is about right to information. How in the name of privacy as a fundamental right, how Government of India is coming out with some sort of tricks and some sort of laws through which it is basically making a mockery out of this right to information. Third one is about India and Pakistan. This is more about value addition to what we have already discussed so far as this India and Pakistan bilateral relationship is concerned. And recent past we have talked about it in detail, so I'm not repeating all these things here, of course, as you can understand, but we are going to talk about some necessary things that both the nations should make sure that those things should continue, even if things are not going very well between both the nations at political or you can say civil as well as military level. And this is a very important article. It is about women empowerment, or you can say it is about sexual abuse cases. That is something that we find it's very sad that we find it generally speaking nowadays it's getting more and more violent, and it's getting more and more worse as well. So this article is very important one. We'll talk about it in detail. So let's crack on. Now, before moving ahead, I would like to inform all of you about our pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. As you can see on your screen, we have different pen drive and tablet courses. To find out more about it, check out www.studyiq.com. That is our website. If you have any question or queries, you can give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. Download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle. Now, this whole case, this Aadhaar survives, this editorial is a very important one. We are going to go through some important items it's something that we do on a regular basis. So basically, as you can understand from the name, that Aadhaar survives means that Supreme Court has supported Aadhaar. Aadhaar is been given a green signal by Supreme Court. We can put it this way as well. Now, a fierce legal battle was going on against Aadhaar, and particularly after this clarification of Supreme Court on 24th August 2017. This is a very important day for our country, because on this day Supreme Court declared that privacy is a fundamental right. And right after that, there were many groups, there are in fact many groups out there in our country. They were arguing that this Aadhaar, we give our biometric information in it, we give our personal information in it, then government can get other information about us in this Aadhaar. So because of this information or this details or data that is provided by us to the government for getting this Aadhaar card, this can be misused by government for profiling us, or you can say keeping an eye on us. You know how it works. Say for example, if everything is seeded with Aadhaar, if your PAN is seeded with PAN number is seeded with Aadhaar, if your bank, if your mobile phone is seeded with Aadhaar, then government can keep an eye on all these things, isn't it? Particularly the ruling party can keep an eye on these things. It's not that difficult to get information from bank, from this PAN authority, or from your mobile companies as far as government is concerned. So this was a fear that was that is not, we can say that it's not a sort of you can say mythical fear. Of course, this is something that can be easily done. Then if commercial companies are asking for your Aadhaar for various different reasons, then that thing can also be misused. So this was a case, or this was the main reason for this case. And out of this 5 judges, 4 judges have supported this stand of government. Government has always said this thing, that Aadhaar is predominantly for providing these benefits and subsidies in a flawless manner, or with as less error as possible, so that direct benefit transfer or the subsidies and other things can be provided to the most marginalized sections of our society. So judges have have accepted this stand of government that Aadhaar is. The whole project is to empower marginalized sections. But that does not mean that everything that is under Aadhaar is all right. There are many things that are deleted by this constitutional bench. And let's start with this one. So from now on, it's not important, or it's not mandatory. In fact, it is not at all necessary for you to seed your bank account with your Aadhaar number. As far as mobile connection is concerned, if you want to get a new connection, then you don't need Aadhaar, right? You can use other ID as well. Private companies cannot insist on Aadhaar. They cannot ask you for Aadhaar. This is something that has been clarified by Supreme Court. When you appear for exams, right, NEET, JEE, UGC, CBSE, they cannot ask you for Aadhaar as well. And as far as school admissions are concerned, you cannot be asked, schools cannot ask Aadhaar or for Aadhaar number of small kids. Now, things where Aadhaar is absolutely important and appreciated by Supreme Court is about this subsidies and benefits. Aadhaar linkage or link is necessary if you want to get a subsidy. But at the same time, Supreme Court has said that if there are some authentication failures and things like that, then government need to come out with some sort of, gadgets or some sort of ideas through which we can, maybe facial recognition, maybe keeping a diary on site, just in case if something goes wrong, then at least that person can note down your Aadhaar number, and then that person who is giving you benefits, right, that person can manually enter that data, and then you can have your superior officer sanctioning that thing. First of all, you give those benefits to that person, you take Aadhaar number and everything, and then later on your internal processes can be done later on. So when you have this information of a person, so it's going to be smooth. That person that is standing there in a queue for that wheat or food items, that person will get that thing, just in case if your authentication machines are not working, or if for whatever reason, if authentication is not happening, then at least you can take that Aadhaar number. And so there are ways through which we can sort this thing out. And this is what Supreme Court has said, that suitable alternative provisions need to be provided in case of authentication failure. Then Aadhaar card and PAN number seeding is very much important, because we know that when this whole thing this whole operation was started, we found so many duplicate PAN cards, were there. So it's very important in terms of tax. It's very important in terms of stopping this black money generation and things like that. And will Aadhaar be mandatory for retired people who do not file income tax returns? Aadhaar has to be linked to PAN card, irrespective whether a person is filing or not filing return. The other thing is, last year the IT department allowed returns to be filed without Aadhaar. Will that not change? So tax returns were allowed without PAN cards being linked till the final judgment is passed. Now they will have to link their Aadhaar card with their PAN number. So government, as I told you, has always supported this thing, and government has also said, and this is something that has been appreciated or been considered by Supreme Court as well, that one of the main aim of Aadhaar is to plug these leakages in subsidy schemes. And we have seen success of this JAM Trinity. JAM stands for Jan Dhan, that is your bank account. A stands for Aadhaar, of course, and M is for your mobile number. So combining these three things, we have saved a huge amount of money that used to get leak, that used to be eaten away by the system, or people at different you can say level or hierarchy of the system. There are so many loopholes, or in fact there used to be so many loopholes, but with the introduction of this JAM Trinity, things have changed. And particularly the best example that we have is this Ujjwala scheme that is associated with this this gas cylinder. So we have good examples where we have saved some 50,000 crore rupees or more than that when this Aadhaar was introduced, and it also helps in better targeting. This JAM definitely helps in better targeting of welfare benefits, but for that you need Aadhaar, isn't it? Without that, it's not possible. The judgment narrows the scope. We have already talked about that you don't need Aadhaar for all these items that are given here or on that infographic that we have already talked about. The other thing is 99.76% of people of our country, they are part of this Aadhaar system. So Supreme Court is very wise, in this thing. Supreme Court has said that rather than getting rid of or chopping down this whole project, it is important to find remedy or to find solutions for whatever loopholes. If we have any loopholes, then what we need to fix that thing rather than bringing down this whole big, you can say, mammoth or this giant system. 99.76% of our population is holding Aadhaar cards. So rather than deleting all of them, it is better to work on things through which we can make it a bit more, you can say, effective and efficient. Now, one of the main, you can say, opposition was about, or particularly opposition parties were not happy with the passage of this bill as a money bill. Now, let me throw some technicality or technical information about being very layman's language here. See, money bill is a bill. When it comes to money bill, right, Lok Sabha will have an upper hand. It is because people in Lok Sabha, MPs in Lok Sabha are directly elected by all of us, by the people of this country. So when it comes to money, it has been designed in such a way that when it comes to money, the decision will be taken by people's representative. When I say people's, I mean to say that those MPs who are directly elected by us, by citizens of our country. When it comes to Rajya Sabha, we know that it is we don't take part in, people of our country, we don't take part in election of this member of parliament or Rajya Sabha members, basically. So Lok Sabha is having upper hand when it comes to money bill, and Supreme Court of this Government of India said in Supreme Court that when it comes to Consolidated Fund of India, or if any government subsidy or benefit or service is supported, or if the money or expenditure is incurred out of Consolidated Fund of India, then as per section 7 of Aadhaar, right, it is a money bill, So money bill definition is something that opposition parties are not happy about, and the main, this majority of this Supreme Court member, or this judges, out of this 4 judges, their vision or their sight is on this larger picture of Aadhaar rather than being too narrow, and rather than talking about faults that we find, whatever loopholes or whatever shortcomings we have with Aadhaar system. This 4 judges, their focus, it looks from their statement that it's about this big picture or the big things that we can do or achieve with the help of Aadhaar. And they have also, you have one judge, right, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, and he has argued that Rajya Sabha's authority has been superseded, because what happens with the money bill is that, as I told you, that Lok Sabha will have or is having an upper hand. So if a bill is introduced as a money bill, right, then Rajya Sabha can just go through it. Rajya Sabha can say yes and no, means they can recommend changes if they like, but it's not necessary at all for the Lok Sabha to follow those recommendations. The other thing is it will be introduced or it will be sent to Rajya Sabha. If Lok Sabha will not hear anything from Rajya Sabha, then it will be considered as a yes from Rajya Sabha and things like that. So in this way, Lok Sabha is having upper hand. So basically you can say that, practically speaking, Rajya Sabha cannot do anything when a bill is introduced as a money bill. And of course you can understand from this thing as well that the money bill can be introduced only in Lok Sabha. So these are some of the factual information associated with money bill. And of course, help yourself with this one when you are preparing for about your basics, basic subjects about your polity. Then go through this money bill and compare it with finance bill and other things. So Justice D.Y. Chandrachud has said that because the way the whole Aadhaar bill was passed as a money bill, so this is something that is not in line with proper legislature system, and this is one of the reasons why he's not happy about this thing. So he has said that it's unconstitutional, this Aadhaar system. And the second reason provided by Justice D.Y. Chandrachud is biometric authentication failure. And if this fails, and if you are saying no to someone, if you are saying no or denying someone's rights as well as legal entitlements, then this is something that is not good as well. So going through this judgment, we should not take it negatively. In fact, we should take it positively. How we can make sure that we have some proper flawless Sigma 6 biometric authentication through which we can make sure that there will be no failures at all. And as far as this passing of money bill is concerned, then of course we can go through the technicality of this thing, but we have to make sure that it should be done to improve or to make this Aadhaar a bit more strong, rather than it should not be in a direction to delete this Aadhaar, because as this decision has been taken by Supreme Court, right, constitutional bench, so it's not something that we can delete now. It's going to be, means if you want to make any changes, then you have to have a bigger bench than a 5-judge bench. You can have 6 or 7 or maybe 9-judge bench. Right, so that's everything about Aadhaar. We have talked about, you can say, nearly 2 article equivalent discussion, isn't it? Now moving on to this one, this is about opacity in the name of privacy. Now again, as we know, we have already discussed this thing, that August 24 or 24th August 2017, Supreme Court declared the right to privacy as a fundamental right. And this right to privacy, it basically protects citizens from arbitrary state and corporate surveillance. We know this thing, we have discussed about this thing earlier on as well. That how this personal information, once this information is been stored by this private companies or corporates or maybe government, how it can be used to design products and services and advertisements and other things, or statements coming from politicians, and based on your taste they can judge your behavior, and based on that thing they will offer you those things. So privacy is something that is very much important. We need this secrecy as well. Secrecy is something that we all have in our personal life, and this is also important for our civic life as well. It's important that we are not being observed, or you can say snooped by our government. It is very important. It is part of our fundamental right, of course. Now, we talked about this Sri Krishna committee as well. It was last Sunday, I believe. And this Sri Krishna committee has drafted this Personal Data Protection Bill 2018. Now, this Personal Data Protection Bill 2018 has got a clause in it that is basically promoting this fear, or it is supporting this fear, saying that we need to protect all those people, right? We need to protect this personal data, and particularly of those who are working in government, like IAS officers or other officers. So it is defining, the bill identifies personal data as any data that directly or indirectly identifies a person. So that's what personal data is, as per this draft that is or as per this bill that is drafted by Sri Krishna committee. So how it basically impacts this RTI is, say for example, if you are seeking information regarding anything, regarding any ABC project or any particular decision taken by government, and of course that you will find signatures of various different officers who have signed this thing, or they have issued a contract, or they have given a green signal to a contract, or whatever. So when these decisions are taken, of course you will find someone's signature, someone's name on it. And now if you are asking information, if you are seeking information regarding anything, then you have this Public Information Officer, PIO. This PIO will decide whether this information should be given to you or not, because if this information will have name of an officer, then this will become personal data, because directly or indirectly you can identify that person. So you can see here, right, what problem this can create for this RTI and for this right to information. It's not just about right to information, it is about accountability. This is one of the main, you can say, core aim of this RTI Act, to bring accountability in the system. The second is to curtail or to curb this, when I say curtail, I mean to say to eliminate basically corruption from our system. This is second aim. But when you will get to this, when we give this discretion power to this PIO's, Public Information Officer, and mind you that they are not PIOs. Even this 9-judge constitutional bench that came out with this verdict on this right to privacy, or this fundamental right, that privacy is a fundamental right, they as well refrained from defining this whole, you can say, concept. They gave us a big broad picture, but here this PIO will this PIO will decide what information should be shared and what should not be shared with this information seeker under this RTI. So this I hope things are clear to you, right? So this thing is something that is a matter of concern as far as RTI is concerned. And recently we have seen this thing that Department of Personnel and Training denied information about the mere number of IAS officers whose annual performance appraisal reports were pending as of 2017, because this information will have names of these IAS officers, and this name, or if you can identify directly or indirectly that person, then you can say that that will become your personal data, and this cannot be shared as per this draft that has been drafted by this, or the bill that is drafted by this Sri Krishna committee. So we need to get rid of this sort of you can say RTI destroying clauses or acts, and this has been supported by Central Information Commissioner as well. M. Sridhar Acharyulu has said that this PIOs can misuse this 8.1.j, and they are in fact misusing it, and they are making mockery out of this RTI. With this, dear friends, next item that we have is this one. It is about cutting through the white noise, and it is about India and Pakistan. Recently we know that we have cancelled this meeting that was going to take place between external affairs ministers of India and Pakistan with each other on the sidelines of United Nations General Assembly. Background information: in recent past we have seen that Mr. Modi having a telephonic conversation with Mr. Khan, and basically Mr. Modi giving a phone call to Mr. Khan to wish him this best wishes for, or congratulating him for his victory in recently concluded elections. Then we also saw that a delegation from Pakistan was here. They attended this funeral of our former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And in recent past, we have seen this BSF personnel getting being murdered by Pakistani army. We are not happy with this stamps that are issued by Pakistani army. We talked about this thing as well, isn't it? You know what is right and what is not. We know that these stamps were issued by Pakistan back in July 2018. But anyways, so what we have observed in recent past, or when I say recent past, I'm talking about the latest. A couple of days ago, Army Chief General Bipin Rawat said that we need second surgical strike. Message coming from Pakistani army is that we too have this nuclear power, or we are a nuclear powered nation. So be careful what you say or what you are trying to do with us. And so basically, both civil as well as military ties are in gridlock at present. Now, a thing that was always, going on in background, many times we say, that background applications or background softwares or processes are on. Things that are not visible, but they are there, and they are playing a very important role. And something similar was going on between India and Pakistan. NSAs of both nations, they used to meet each other. They had so many telephonic conversations. They had so many meetings as well in Singapore, in other places as well. So what we need is, we need to appreciate this thing that from November 2015 to June 2018, meetings were going on between both the nations as far as both NSAs are concerned. Now Imran Khan is thinking about to get rid of this whole position, or this post of NSA. Imran Khan is going to delete this post. So if we get rid of this post, then we will break this communication channel that is very important for both the nations. And we can, together, these interlocutors or these NSAs, they can interact with each other. We can present points, and then at least something is going on between both the sides. That is far better than not having anything at all. Together, what we can do is we can understand each other's necessities or demands, like India wants or India is looking for a visa-free entry for our Sikh pilgrims to Pakistan to visit this Gurudwara Darbar Sahib for the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak in November 2019. Mr. Khan has spoken about trade ties. They want us to open, to do more trade with Pakistan. And visas for journalists is something that is important for both the nations. At least we get the proper and right information about what's going on in Pakistan, and Pakistanis can get right information about what's going on in India. It is very important, because many times what we find is that this state of mind of that particular journalist who is writing that article, you will find it in so we need unbiased, proper information. And we can also create this demilitarized zone between both of us, so that we can, at least have a chat with each other, just like North Korea and South Korea. Now, this is about I was raped at 16 and I kept silent. The writer of this article, she is talking about how when she was young, she was 16-year-old, she living in USA, she was dating a person, and that person basically raped her. And so this article is giving us an insight as well, that out of, in 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys today will be sexually abused before they hit this age of 18. So this is a matter of concern. Now, the person that you can see here on your screen, this article is written because of this person, because he's going to become Supreme Court judge of USA. And there are 2 ladies out there. They are saying that this person here, a long time ago, he did that he tried to, he did something that is falling under the category of sexual abuse, or sexually abusing someone. Now, Mr. Trump is saying that why these ladies are taking, why if you are right, then basically you should have said at that point of time why you are saying this thing after 20 years or 15 years and things like that. So the writer of this article is saying that it is very normal, because when the whole society is not supporting you, I'm sure you have watched this film called Pink, where questions are raised against ladies' lot. They are being asked like why you attended a party, why you are wearing this sort of clothes and things like that, rather than asking questions to those people who are abusing women. It is the victim who has been looked at with with suspicion, and the blame goes on the victim, that if you are wearing something revealing, then that is something you made a big mistake. If you are out in the night, then that's your mistake and things like that. So of course these are all stupid opinions and comments. Everyone has this freedom, and no one has this right to dictate what a lady should wear, whether she should drink or not drink. It is totally her choice. Now, this whole incident that is explained by this writer of this article, she is saying that it is absolutely normal, when the whole society is against you. And 32 years ago, this incident took place with her when she was a teenager. And at that point of time as well in USA, people used to ask this question, that why you were out with that person, and why you didn't inform anyone, and why you were wearing this or that, whether you were drinking or not drinking, and all these questions, were part of USA society as well. Even in fact, it is today as well. So when you are blaming someone this way, then naturally you are not providing that platform where someone can come out and speak openly about it. And it's a very important message for all of us. We have to understand that our sons, they should know that girls and their bodies do not exist for their pleasure. And the other thing is that if anyone, particularly for kids, because we can see here like kids below this 18, there are high chances that they will be abused. So it is important to educate our kids that if someone is trying to touch their privates or make them feel uncomfortable, then they should yell out loud, they should warn that person, and they should at least chat with someone elder. And as an elder, we have to provide that platform where our kids can share their incidents with us freely, so that important legal steps can be taken. Now, important news items: Supreme Court proceedings can be live streamed, has been said by Supreme Court. Center is going to hike import duty on select items. We have talked about it in detail earlier on. Think about it. And then MHA merges these police forces in 6 union territories. So union territory police can be transferred from one place to another and things like that. Ordinance to replace this Medical Council of India with National Medical Commission. There are so many flaws and issues with Medical Council of India, so of course we need to repair it. We need more doctors and more nurses, and we need to create more hospitals and things like that. So hopefully this new commission will look after that thing. On your screen you can see a submarine, and this submarine is INS Chakra 2, and it is an Akula class Russian nuclear powered submarine. We have rented this one from Russia, and we are training our Indian submariners to handle this indigenous nuclear powered INS Arihant. That is again a sort of course nuclear powered. Now you have recyclers. As far as this e-waste is concerned, we are not doing that well. Kharif food grain production is going to be excessive, or it's going to be good. So what will be its impact? Think about it. Boost to SC/ST quota in promotion has been said by Supreme Court. And Yamin is trying to create some sort of problems. So still we have to wait and watch as far as Maldives is concerned. G4 for United Nations Security Council reform. You have these 4 countries in G4. A new telecom policy aims to provide broadband access to each and every citizen of our country. These are your vocabularies. Yesterday's map-based question answer is Uzbekistan. Today I have a question for you guys. Can you identify this country? Very, you can say, unique geography it has, and can you compare it with one of the state of our country? So give me the name of the state of our country that looks or resemblance, has this resemblance with this particular country. And these are your answer. Brazil was the flag on your screen yesterday, and today I have one more flag. Give me the name of this flag, as well as name, I mean to say, with which country this flag is associated with. And these are your 2 questions. That's everything. Share this lecture with other students. Enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.